Hey yo, and welcome to our visualized bad podcast, where we fill your ears for 30-ish minutes with what we love and hate about the things from the world of entertainment and gaming. I am Baker.
And I am Dan.
That's right, I thought you'd forgotten who you are. And for our first ever episode of Bad Podcast, we're going to jump on the hype bandwagon and give our complete unexpert opinion and often jaded views on the Stranger Things finale. Oh yes. First off, Dan, right? I haven't prepared you for any of this, but I want from you, okay? Are you ready for this? 3 words that sum up your feelings about the finale, okay? You can take a minute to think about this. Obviously, it's a few days later since the finale came out, as it was, New Year's Day for us? It came out, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning. And we are recording this on the 4th of January. So you've had some time to reflect and stew in your old man anger. So what is your first word that would describe your feelings about the finale?
It's going to be probably is disappointed a little bit.
Okay, that's your first one. That's you've started with a strong one. They don't all have to be negative, but that's fine. This is your feelings. So, okay, disappointed is your first. What's your second?
A little bit predictable. Okay. I'm going to go with as well.
Yeah, predictable. That's fair. And last but not least,
acceptable.
Acceptable. Wow. That's sounds like a school report I had once. Talking about school, I'm going to ask you to show your working. So why is your first word disappointed?
I think because I'm a bit like in the old ways of TV shows such as Lost, if you remember.
Oh God,
that was a long, many moons ago nowadays. Yeah, exactly. But, when you've invested so much time in a TV show. Yeah, and there's obviously they give you spaces in between. One, I don't like the fact they made you wait for 2 years almost or whatever it was to get this final season.
Yeah,
and they're all about 1 million years old.
Is that how long it was? 2 years?
Not quite. I think it might be more than that.
Yeah, it might have been.
Feels like it was, but the time jump they never really explained very well. They almost made it out to be a couple of months, and it clearly was years.
Well, it was like a jump from a summer, wasn't it? Is what they kept saying. It'd been about a summer because Jonathan kept saying that the summer I spent in California, blah, 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 that we kept saying to Nance. So I think it can only have been, 3 months, 4 months tops since the last episode where they're on top of that hill and the whole of Hawkins is on fire.
But yeah, but that time jump of visual age of the characters, I didn't like that. They should have just said, a couple of years later or something. That would have been a perfect way of explaining it, really, for me.
I mean, we talked about this. I think, obviously, in terms of the people that create this, the Duffer Brothers, etc. You can't stop people aging. You're always going to be a victim of the cast that you select, especially when they are kids when you first start. It was, I think, for me, the first episode was hard to watch because, like you say, the age jump is insane. The problem is they were kids when they started, and you from the age of I think they're 20 now, odd when they finished filming this, and they started when they were 11, 12. From those ages, those are your formative years. You change in look. You can't help it.
True. Yeah, it's true. But I think they could have just recorded it 2 years ago. Just because they should know as producers, shit, these guys are going to age, X amount, because that's like you say, genetically is what humans do, or whatever.
It's what we do. Yeah.
Why not just film it 2 years ago? And then, or like I said, or just say, it's jumped a couple of years, for whatever reason.
It's hard because I think you either go down that route, you say it's a couple of years later, and then you risk the whole fact of, why is it a couple of years later and you haven't dealt with this in between, or you let people get over the fact that these kids look about 5 years older than they did, literally, a few months before. Personally, I got over it. I think a couple of episodes in, I was like, okay, I can deal with this now because I'm used to how they look now. But I think there's certain scenes where you're like, this would have been better if they looked younger, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we're reversing. So we're still on your word, disappointed. Actually, we'll move on from disappointed, okay? Because we're going to definitely cover disappointment through this whole podcast, probably. Your second word was predictable.
Yeah.
So what for you was the most predictable, or top 3 most predictable things in the finale?
Top 3?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, okay. If you haven't got 3, that's fine.
Remember
I thought there was going to be a lot more. I thought there was going to be a lot more than 3. So, okay. What was the most predictable thing for you?
I think the whole 11 dying, or potentially dying, but she clearly did. It was guaranteed to go that way with the show, I think.
Yeah.
And her sister, or not technically a sister, but
yeah,
what she called her sister, and immediately knew that they're both clearly going to die.
Yeah.
And then they did the whole leading into where they're like, oh, we both have to die, to save the world kind of thing. I was like, there's definitely going to die now because everyone's going to think they're not going to. So they clearly we're going to.
But is that predictable in a good way or predictable in a bad way?
In a bad way. I think they should have span it round and maybe I don't know. Turns out that L wasn't L the entire time and it was actually some other Vecna form. They could have just done something else with it that could have surprised people.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they did for her at least. I mean, whether you think it's she did or didn't die, they gave you that what do they call it? The inception moment where they leave it up to you. Which anyway, we'll get onto the ending. Okay, that's your predictable moment, and your third final word was I can't remember. You only said it a couple of minutes ago.
Acceptable.
Acceptable. Okay, so acceptable it explains itself.
Self-explanatory. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well. Okay. So we've got your top notes. So I mean, anyone listening to this can tell it's going to take a pretty fairly negative turn. This podcast, but I was taught the only thing I remember from college, right? I did performing arts in college, and the only thing I remember from college was we used to do a performing arts business class. My tutor taught us what was called the feedback sandwich, all right? And it's always stuck with me. Everything I've ever done. When I was a manager, when I used to give people their annual reports, always did the feedback sandwich, all right? So we're going to give...
Literally write feedback on a sandwich and...
shove it down their throats, make them choke on it. So we are going to give Stranger Things finale and I suppose wider the Stranger Things season 5 a feedback sandwich, all right? So you always start in a feedback sandwich with the positives, okay? So this is probably going to be a thin layer of bread, I can imagine, from you. So what did you like about the episode and maybe the season as a wider topic? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I quite like Vecna. He looked better in this season. He looked like the tyrant from Resident Evil, didn't he?
He did.
He had that vibe about him. I wouldn't say he looks creepier though. I think he looked creepier before.
You reckon?
Maybe he looked visibly better this time around, but I feel he looked creepier last time around because most of the time you saw him, he was with the the red lights, in the upside down or whatever. So it was all dark and gloomy. So it kind of gave him. I guess that's what gave him made him look scary or whatever. Whilst now they chucked him in a lot of scenes where he's just walking around in the daylight.
True.
Took it away from me.
I think the opposite. I think it looks scarier now, personally, because I think the theme, the lighting. God, I'm sorry, burping. I think the visualness of this season has been darker. I mean, to be honest, for me, the best scene was when he first came back in season 5, and they gave him the Darth Vader moment. And that was pretty badass. I did enjoy that. Any more positives from the finale for you?
Not really.
Okay.
It's pretty harsh. I didn't like. There's a lot I didn't like. So yeah, I struggled with.
Okay. What about any positive, character performances or anything like that?
Whether it's right or wrong or harsh or not. 'Cause again, I'm not an actor.
Aren't you?
I find a lot of
professional actor. No.
I mean, many films that I've been in. I can't call myself professional, but I always find none of them can really act. At least not
none of them.
To me. I mean, some of them actually.
Wow.
I'll say
that's a sweeping statement there, Dan.
I just find they almost act like I'll use Harry Potter as an example. The very first Harry Potter film, most of the actors in it, the kid actors obviously, hadn't done any acting previously, and you could tell. I mean, for the first 4 or 5 Harry Potter films, it was really just shockingly bad acting. Don't give a shit if anyone likes that. It's just true. And I feel like almost some of the actors, obviously, maybe they didn't star any roles before they did it. You can kind of understand it, but even towards the end, I still feel like some of the actors were just sort of on stage shout. You can tell between a good actor when it feels almost real. You get other actors where you're watching them on a stage performance, and it's that difference for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Pantomime. Some of them feel like pantomime actors to me, and others feel like actual actors.
Okay. So anyone stand out as good? Or even the adults?
What
about Murray? Do you like Murray?
I do, but I find him kind of irritating because they push too much on his sort of quirky side constantly.
Okay.
They got a little bit a little bit repetitive, I think.
Okay. What about Hopper?
He's all right. He's an all right actor, isn't he?
But I'm talking about characters now. Characters, like they, how they've developed. Maybe like had their performance in the last finale.
Again, actually, I was kind of disappointed with Hoffa again
Yeah,
because he pushed like through most of this last season. He pushed on the whole like trying to like kill himself to save her and all this kind of stuff. Worried about her dying, like his daughter did, and all that kind of stuff. They really pushed heavy on it. And then when she did finally die at the end, he's just like, "Oh fuck it, I gotta get married."
Yeah.
That was his attitude.
Right, we're on the positives anyway. Remember, on the positive section.
Yeah.
you can unload this all in a minute. Okay, so basically you're saying all terrible actors, never give them a job again, yeah?
Well, no, not all terrible actors. Just some of them could definitely do with more acting.
Wow. I'm gonna give a little bit of a positive spin on this. Okay, and then you can at least maybe either agree with me or disagree with me. Okay, for me, I think this season, surprisingly, Will has been the strongest of any of them. I think, considering how quiet he is in the other seasons, etc., and kind of left out obviously in season 1 because he gets taken and then it doesn't really get to do anything in the rest of the season. I think like his performance of when he's fighting Vecna, etc., I think those are quite badass. I think they filmed those really quite well, and I'm surprised that I liked them as much as I did, because I never really liked his character before so much, because he's sort of the baby face a little bit, and we're both like, we quite like mean characters and things like that. So I think probably that transformation is why I liked it so much. And I think he did it really well. I like his shouting and stuff. I thought he pulled it off. And
he did well with he could actually act.
Yeah, I thought him, embodying the powers. I thought he did well. I thought he pulled it off. So that's my positive. I'm surprised you don't like. Do you not like Steve?
I do like him as a character, but I think again they could have done more with him. They just stuck to the same. Like in the first season, he's kind of like not a bad boy, but he is sort of, isn't he?
Yeah.
And like then obviously they changed his arc around or whatever, and I have read out a thing that they were planning on killing him off apparently as a character.
Yeah.
But then they liked him. They liked what he was doing.
Yeah,
but they just pushed too much of it then. It's stuck too much on the whole. Like, I wanted a bit more of a bad guy version of him come back out.
Yeah, I think obviously the whole big tease about him getting killed and then them literally teasing it. It was good. I like that. I didn't mind it so much. For me, I like Murray. Murray, I really like. I think he's the comedic, what do they call it, escape that you need, and he does it really well. Like him and Hopper, I think, work well together. But yeah, that's probably the positives. Over. Let's move on. All right then, Dan, let's get into the meaty portion of the feedback sandwich then. This is going to be your favourite part, I can tell. What did you not like so much?
I mean, it's a lot of places to start there, isn't it? Again, like that acting, I know we've already touched on that, but I'll tell you what, it's a pet hate, or actually of mine, not just necessarily Stranger Things, but anything that starts with kid actors that aren't. I mean, it's not necessarily being mean about kid actors, but obviously they're going to be limited, aren't they, compared to adult actors? But the category's still the same. Any actors that start at the start of a season, Game of Thrones, good example as well, who weren't particularly great, and then they end up towards the end, 5 or 6 seasons later, after these companies make you wait like 20 years of, trying to drag the money for everything. They get paid a shite ton of money, and they're still crap actors. I don't like it. There you go.
So what you're saying is any kid actors out there, give up now, grow old, and then start acting.
Or just replace them if they're really crap.
Right, what else did you like? So you've picked on the actors. Let's talk more about maybe the story, or, I mean, we're going to get onto the fight scene, I assume. So what didn't you like about the final fight?
I would say it's the lack of other monsters.
Yeah.
I think I've pointed this out before. I've said this to you before, yeah. I don't like the fact that they had, like with Eddie getting killed by all these, like, what do they call them, demo bats or whatever. Yeah. Massive, there's shitloads of them for one. I know he did, like, obviously wipe a load of them out or whatever, but where were the rest of them? And then these demogorgons or whatever they called.
Yep.
Why was there no more of them? It's like they just sort of forgot that.
It's
and like,
weird
I don't like the fact, this whole like bridge between the two worlds with the upside down in the middle. And they vocally pointed out that the other side of it is where all the monsters come from. That's where all the demogorgons come from, all this stuff. And you didn't see a single one. I don't think there was actually one.
No.
You didn't even see a bat fly by, nothing. No dragons or, creatures. It's just one. And that was the giant, what are they called? Mind Flayer or whatever his name is, yeah. And even that they ruined because they changed the way he looked. It changed from like the weird alien three-legged or four-legged thing into a spider. Why?
It's a weird one. Like to be honest, when they went through the tear after going up the tower, I was waiting for them to get attacked, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't come, I kind of shifted my focus then to the mind flayer a little bit, and how that was going to work, because I thought, well, they're tiny people, and that's a giant effing spider demon. How are they possibly going to make this but realistic? I guess to a certain extent. Obviously, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi, and all that. You can suspend belief to a certain extent. That's fine. In the days since it's been out, or like you say, all the memes and stuff about where the hell were the demogorgons? Or were they on holiday or what? The one explanation I've seen, which is a good explanation if they'd shown it, was a theory. Sorry, is like all the monsters having been absorbed to make the mind flayer, which is a fine idea, a fine theory. I quite like that. I think visually that would have worked if they'd shown it.
Yeah.
Like if Vecna having to do something and like bring them,
particularly showing it turn from 4 legs into like the 8-legged spider thing. That would actually explain 2 things, then, wouldn't it?
Well,
why it looks different.
Yeah, true. Like they could have
accepted that.
They could have had a cool sort of like start of the battle where they're getting overrun by all these things, and you think, oh well, they're not getting out of this, or maybe they start to get a bit of an upper hand, and then Vecna like say has to absorb their power to make the mind flayer live and move. That would have been fine by me and pretty cool, potentially. But the fact that it's such a barren landscape, and like
that's what I mean. Why not just have what I honestly expected to happen is like you said, when they first went up there to get attacked by stuff, or like when they're getting close, they're getting in there to to go and wreck the big old mind flayer. I expected just like turn around and be a buttload of them all coming at them. That's what I think most people expected it to happen. The whole like Lord of the Rings moment. Here they all come like, oh crap, and then like they could have done a really good showdown, and it just didn't happen.
Well, that you say that
like it's gonna happen.
I've seen reports saying that they based that final fight off the Lord of the Rings fight. I mean, if that's true, then it didn't do very well, did they?
No, it didn't.
But like, I think I said to you this in text, like Dustin and Steve with their spears and the shields. That was just so pointless. So, and I felt sorry for them as characters. Like they've built this bromance and all that kind of stuff, and it was supposed to be the whole like, Eddie homage, and it just felt like so pointless what they were doing. Like,
what the worst thing that annoyed me with them is they were obviously underneath it stabbing it. I was like, well, if it actually worked what they were doing, they would have just been squished immediately and died. It made no sense the way they were doing any of that. Like that whole thing, actually, to be fair. Here comes some hate on everything. One, why did
let it flow? Let the hate flow.
Why did the lad with the like a slingshot?
Oh no, Lucas.
But it was like Lucas. That's him. With the giant slingshot, like modified thing, shooting water balloons full of fair enough, petrol or whatever. But it's like, what? Why would you choose to go to some other realm where who knows how many monsters as a theorized or whatever the word is? They chose that of all weapons.
Yeah, but it's a callback, isn't it?
My balloon gun.
It's the callback to the first episode, first season.
Made no sense.
No, I don't. I don't mind that because it's the Goonies side of it. It's the silly. It's still. It's not 18 plus, is it? It's got that sci-fi sort of D&D whatever. I don't mind that at all. But I think they should have been fighting demogorgons. Like they could have been like. Setting the ground on fire to keep them away and stuff like that. And him and Will should have been doing that. And like as we said. Dustin and Steve should have been fighting off the bats, and then Nancy and Jonathan could have been doing what they were doing, which is fine. Setting the thing on fire, that makes sense with a flamethrower. Great, that's a devastating weapon, really. And obviously, Rambo Ripley combo that is Nance doing her thing. That's fine. I can buy that 100%. Buy that.
I can't see. Like I'm gonna comment on the whole Nancy thing. I like what they did with the character, but. Certain bits of it kind of really irritated me through the whole thing. Like at the start of this season, she's there with a shotgun, fine. We've seen in other seasons she could shoot, but she's like a little twig of maybe 6 stone firing a shotgun with 0 recoil. I was like, that's really unbelievable for one, but okay, I'll kind of accept it. And then to metamorphosis into literally Rambo, same hair, same bandolier or whatever you want to call it with the grenades on it. And then firing all sorts of guns she clearly would never have had training with her an entire life, and then happily shooting soldiers to death, just like 0, remorse, just like and Hopper's even like good shooting. He's like, hey, was like, that makes no sense at all. She's still a teenage girl, isn't she, at this point? Or, maybe early 20s or whatever, just like mowing down these people. Like, whoa! That was so silly.
Again, I don't mind that so much because you could say that about any movie. Like, I was watching, not to go on a tangent too much, but I was watching Reacher. I mean, that guy should be in prison. I mean, the amount of people he's killed. And it's the same in any show. Like, when you look back at it, you go, these people have killed hundreds of people. Like, they're not the good guys. What are you talking about? They're the bad guys.
Well, at least like Preacher, he's like an ex-soldier or something.
Yeah,
so he's used to killing.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, skills-wise, it's fine. But
whatever he is,
he just kills people at the drop of a hat. It's like you can't kill that many people and just be like, oh, I'm walking around on the street. And I know you're supposed to suspend belief. It's movies and blah blah. And that's why, for me, I don't mind. I do, because like you say, they're popping military people in the heads and just like brushing it off. But
monsters, I can get a killing them, but when it comes to other humans, there is there's normally a line that most people won't cross.
Yeah.
And she just seemed to be just straight into it. Like, it's different if they were trying to kill her, like actually kill her. I don't think they were at that time. They were just like, fair enough, they were shooting near him or whatever, but it wasn't quite the same as, you just shot my friend, I've seen him die, that's it, I'm gonna get apeshit and shoot the hell out of him. She just happily pop on him.
The willful soldier killing through the whole series, to be honest, by Hopper as well, it does blow my mind a little bit. Okay.
I think it would have been fine for me. I would have accepted it if one of the group would have been shot and like even if mortally injured,
exactly.
Blood pouring out of him, then
like a vengeance,
just mad, like
yeah. I can.
That would have been acceptable, but instead of just like him in the face and then get like a well done from Harper. Oh, well done, good shot. Like it's grade A. Well done, you're doing great there. And she's like, yes, yes, I killed that guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's another one. Chalks another one up. Okay, so we've ripped apart the final battle a little bit. I don't know if you did this, but so the final battle came with about an hour's left of the episode.
Yeah,
because I remember pausing it and thinking, "Oh, cool, maybe there's a rebirth."
This is where my bit will come in, see, because this is what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was going to be another final battle, basically. But then we have pretty much 50 minutes of wrapping up storylines. So yeah, what did you hate about the end?
Yeah, so they got their escape arc. Obviously, like you say, you notice there's like, hang on a minute, there's nearly an hour left of the show. And then run straight into the soldiers. And I thought, oh, all right, they're going to do something cool with this. And, perhaps, I don't know, more demogorgons will come out of somewhere or something interesting happen. And then
they get back off holiday.
It was just really limited, wasn't it? They didn't do crap all with that bit, really. It was just almost a cheap shot way to explain, just we'll cover the bases to make sure that, because people would obviously ask, where did the soldiers go? I can't even remember what happened. It was that boring. I was just so disappointed with it.
So you mean where they're captured on the other side, yeah?
Yeah.
And then obviously 11 does her spoilers. I mean, there's spoilers in the entire episode. You shouldn't have clicked on this episode if you didn't want spoilers. But I mean, it's an excuse to kill 11, isn't it? That's what they used it for.
Yeah, basically.
It is a very. I didn't see at the time. I mean, I've never liked the whole soldier side of it anyway, really. Dr. K, I think her name is, or whatever she is. It seems like, looking back on it, it seems such a Stranger Things. It's such a strange addition / no resolution of her character and any real point in her being there.
I've seen memes about that. It's like once 11 is dead, she just go, oh shit, I'll just go retire then.
Guess my job here's done. It's just it's a very rushed. And
why not just kill her? That's all I was asking for. If they're going to get rid of her, why not just have her get killed? Like, Hopper should just turn around and look at her and go,
just Nancy just blow her head off.
Oh, one of them. You know what I mean? There's a perfectly reason to shoot someone in the face, right?
Nancy should have just blown her head off and just pan over to Hopper, and he just puts his thumb up like, "Good job, girl."
I'd have been happy with that.
Yeah. And it would have fit in with the wanton killing of innocent soldiers.
So, I tell you what, there's another thing with that scene as well. Once 11's like, getting killed or whatever, you slowly see her dying. There's one soldier there, and he's almost crying. He looks so sad. Why is he so sad? He was trying to kill him a minute ago.
I think he just realised his paychecks are coming to an end. So what did you think of the death?
Again, because I kind of knew it was going to happen. I thought it would be a bit more exciting, to be honest. And a bomb blew up whatever the hell it was, dark matter or whatever the heck it was that blew up.
Yeah,
by that, I thought it was just a bit exotic matter. Sorry, yeah. But then it's like, why didn't it come out the ball? why did it stop at the portal door thing? You know, like the way in. That makes no sense.
I guess portals. I don't know, you could explain that away. Portals are portals, right?
But you can walk through it. Why can't an explosion come through it?
Because Dan.
Because it's energy, right?
Yeah, energy. Yeah, that's right. See, you explained it away yourself. My issue, the bit where obviously she talks to Mike. I thought that was so weak. Again, we're not actors. Blah blah blah. All right, I'm not saying these people got paid a lot of money though over the course of Stranger Things. I think in this season he has been for me the weakest actor, and
agreed.
It was a shame that obviously it had to be them two in that scene. I should have been in tears really for that, to be honest. And I just felt like it was just awkward, and like you say, there was no chemistry between those two characters. It felt like they'd never.
It was like
met,
girlfriend
really.
And boyfriend. They fell in love for the whole series, and it's like, I'm about to die, and he's just like, no, don't. That was about the most emotion he's shown, and she's like, sorry, I'm gonna do it anyway.
It was definitely weak. Yeah, that's why I don't think what should have been a more epic death, which whether you say like predictable or not, it should have been more.
Should have been something better than that.
It should have just felt bigger. I mean, even like you say, like Hopper didn't really get his goodbye properly.
It felt like you get like a Netflix show. It's usually Netflix. It just cancels the show for the hell of things. It's like doing really well, cancel it. It's not doing well enough, or whatever. And it feels like, right, we're going to cancel the show after this, so wrap it up real quick. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like they've run out of money. Oh crap! Let's just end it. That'll do.
Do you think the question is then? Do you think they should have split it between more episodes and not done a 2-hour final?
They shouldn't have done the. We shouldn't have done the last 45 minutes of whatever the hell that crap was at the end. It was so draggy. I was like, I'm so bored.
There was
I don't know what the hell was happening.
It felt like about 6 endings, didn't it? Like there was the graduation, there was the Hopper and Mike on the bench, there was the D&D ending, there was the rooftop ending between Steve and that lot. Obviously they have to have their own, that's fine.
Marriage proposal.
They just felt all like, which again is difficult because you've expanded the cast so much. Maybe they shouldn't have expanded the cast so widely, I don't know. But it was a lot of endings that felt very separate. Like either have either go, if you're going to do everyone's happy live ever after sort of ending, if you're really going to go down that line, then just have a massive one, as in like the graduation one. Have the graduation, because they're all there with the graduation, pretty much. Have them all there. Steve can turn up the end and give Dustin a high five or whatever, like he did, when they met outside uni or whatever it was supposed to be. He could have done that at the graduation. They didn't have to do that extra part.
They did those slow motion-y kind of like no speaking bits, didn't they? At the end of like all these really long scenes, like you say, where he's high-fiving and meeting up with him. Why not just do like 5 minutes of that? That would have been enough.
But at the graduation, I think they could have just done that at the graduation and then gone to the D&D game. Because I like the D&D game because do you know what? The best thing about the finale was the outro of the sketched like D&D strategy book. I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah.
Did you watch the outro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part because the drawings are really cool, and I like the song, David Bowie, "We Could Be Heroes." Like the nostalgia then was nice. That was the best thing about the whole episode, and I like the wrapping up with it. Starting with a D&D game and ending with a D&D game. It was full circle. I've got no problem with moments like that, but the 6 different goodbyes was about 4 too many, I think, for me. But yeah, right. We've really ripped it apart there. Okay, so we're going to finish off our feedback sandwich. Okay, with the crumbs that are left. What I want to ask you, I mean, we've touched on some of this, but what would you have done differently?
I'd have made Will Byers be the main bad guy at the end.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people were expecting. And
one of my arguments for like the whole soldier thing is I don't get why they all saw, or at least some of them saw him when he controlled like the some of the demogorgons when they're attacking, because obviously they're all getting attacked with him. There must have been a few witnesses going, why is that man standing there with his eyes going white and he's clearly hovering friggin' demogorgons in midair or whatever he did, like in the early fight scene. So they know he's got powers like what Eleven's got, so why didn't they just capture him at the end and do experiments on him?
Yeah, very true.
I don't understand. Surely at least consider it, because it's like, well, he's doing something that's not normal humans are doing. Why not just test him? How is that evil old lady. I'd have been like, shit, that one's dead. Oh well, he just did something similar. I'll do capture him.
Yeah.
And they already had everyone there. Why not just drag him off?
Well, because then they couldn't have the 6 goodbyes, could they? 18 months later.
They should have had like a showdown between him and Elle. That would have been better. That would have been a better way for her to get killed as well, because no one would have ever seen that coming.
The fact that they all came out of there in the back of that van was, to me, I was a bit disappointed. Because again, they teased it with the whole Steve falling off thing, which, you know, was, again, I don't mind that. But if you're going to tease it and then only have 11 die, and then not even really particularly kill her, I think, as you said, the word that you said, I'm surprised you didn't choose as one of your 3 words, actually, was safe.
Yeah.
Definitely felt a bit safe.
It was very safe, wasn't it? You're right.
I will say, in closing, actually, I was entertained, partly. I did enjoy it. It doesn't sound like I enjoyed it, but the beauty of hindsight, you know, you can look back and say, well, I did enjoy it, but I think this would have made it even more enjoyable. But
we can finish on actual good thing. What would you rate the whole series out of? We'll give it a classic out of 10. What would you rate the all of it, not just the ending? Go back and watch the whole thing again. What would you rate the whole lot as?
I think season 1 was like one of the best shows I'd seen, personally.
Agreed.
Because I love the 80s vibe. You know, we are 80s kids.
It was creepy, is what I liked about it.
Yeah, it was
very
different
horror,
as well.
Horror.
10. I'd probably give it, because I'm nostalgic, I'd probably give it a 7.
That's fair. I'd go with 7.
Okay. I thought you were going to go low. We're going to go like 4.
If you'd have said, what do you rate the last 2 seasons? I'd be like, yeah, it's right down there with like a 4. Yeah, definitely.
I think, like I say,
the others do make up for it.
The first season, and obviously the Eddie, you know, the fact they had Metallica in it, you know, for us is I would assume a big plus. It's hard to mark it down because of the very strong early seasons, I'd say. Anyway, there we go. That is us this time done for our bad podcast. Please let us know what you think. Let the hate flow through you in the comment section. Let us know whether you agree the points that we've brought up, or whether you wholeheartedly disagree with everything we've just said. Either way, your opinion is your own. Thanks for listening, watching, and potentially falling asleep during this podcast. I have been and remain as Baker.
I guess I do the same thing, but I'm Dan.
That's right. Okay, thank you, people. Peace out. Goodbye. Do you want to say bye?
No.